Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto Uzumaki was forced to marry Temari by the Sand and Leaf Councils? Naruto x Temari Part 2. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. It was after Ino's shift, and late in the day. She had to deliver the day's reports to the Hokage and then she could leave for the day, and she wondering if Naruto's date had gone okay with the advice she had given him. Speaking of Naruto, she had some things to ask the Hokage or Shizune about Sakura in regards to Naruto. She knocked on the office door and got a reply to come in, a moment later. "Hello there Ino, did you come hand your reports in?" Shizune asked, looking over some paperwork on Tsunade's desk. Yeah, I did," Ino replied, handing the papers to her. "By the way, I had a strange conversation with Sakura earlier." "A strange conversation?" Shizune asked, giving her a curious look. "What was it about?" "It was about Naruto, actually," Ino replied, hitting a hand on her hip. "I basically got Sakura to admit she has feelings for him, but when I told her she could snag him if he broke up with Temari, she got a kind of sad look on her face." "Any ideas why?" Shizune remained silent for a moment before answering her. I'm not sure really, maybe she was just jealous of Temari getting with Naruto before she could." You don't sound very convincing, Shizune," Ino said, in a dry tone. "You know something, and I wanna know what that is." "Don't worry about it for now, Ino," said Tsunade, walking into the room. "You'll be giving information soon." "No, Sakura's my friend, and so is Naruto," Ino said, defiantly. "If you know something, I have the right to know too." Tsunade held her head for a second. Okay. Tomorrow, I'll have you, the rest of the Rookie 11, and a few others come here in the morning," she said to Ino, sighing. "We'll discuss it then at 9, now, it's late so, get home, your shift is done." "Fine," Ino finally said, turning around. "Bye." After Ino walked out the door and closed it behind her, Tsunade slumped onto her chair. "Well, I suppose they were bound to find out sooner or later," she said, leaning back in her chair. "I need to call a council meeting for tomorrow morning, at about 8, to make my announcements, or at least some of them." "You aren't going to tell them everything, why not?" Shizune asked, putting some papers into a drawer of a file cabinet. "You don't trust them, do you? Is there a reason to?" "'Cause I don't see any," Tsunade said, looking at the ceiling. "They've always been against me and Naruto. I know all about how they looked the other way when Jonin Ninja tried to kill Naruto as a boy. I also know how they've done everything in their power to undermine my decisions as Hokage." Shizune remained quiet. "Now then, I only intend to tell them that some important information will be revealed tomorrow, and that's all I'm saying to them," Tsunade said, sitting up, and looking at Shizune. "And don't you dare tell them anything behind my back again. I know you only thought you were doing good, but you only did harm." "I'm sorry Lady Tsunade, I won't say anything, to anyone," Shizune said, solemnly. "You have my word, I swear on my uncle's grave." "Very well Shizune. Go use one of the guest rooms here, in the office to get some sleep," she said, to her. "I'm going to get some sleep myself after I write this up and send it off." Shizune nodded to her, bid her good night and walked through the door leading to guest room. Tsunade quickly wrote up the information and had a messenger bird carry it to the council chamber for them to read when the council convened at 6 a.m. the next morning. The next morning at about 8 a.m., the Konoha 11, along with several clan leaders, Gaara, and his siblings, most of the Jonin, minus Kakashi, who was probably late at his own birth, and Sakura, who hadn't shown up or giving a reason for her absence. After waiting about 15 minutes, Kakashi finally appeared in a swirl of leaves. He gave a wave to the Hokage and said, "Sorry I'm late, I." "Save it, Kakashi, as much as I enjoy hearing your creative excuses, we have things to discuss. Tsunade said, folding her hands together. Now we should wait for Sakura to arrive, but she already knows most of this, and I can fill her in on anything extra. I still say you have no right to inform everyone here about anything important before you tell us in private first, Homura Mitokado said, in a distasteful voice. As the council of the Leaf Village, we have that right. I agree, Tsunade. We needed time to edit what you reveal to those present, his teammate, Kaharu Udatane added, from her seat. And that's exactly why I didn't tell you what I was going to speak about. I didn't want you trying to tell me how to do my job, Tsunade said, with her eyebrows narrowed. The days of me playing lapdog to the council is over. In fact, you can think of it this way, from now on, you will be playing lapdogs to me. Both Kaharu and Homura were wide-eyed and in shock at what she had said. Now then, let's get started, Tsunade said, not giving them a chance to speak. First of all, while I was in the coma, and Gaara was at the Cage Summit, the Leaf and Sand Councils decided to set up a arranged marriage between Temari of the Sand and Naruto. Everyone in the room was frozen at those words and looked over at Naruto, who was sitting on the ledge of the window, staring out at the village as Temari stood near him. Before anyone could say anything else, Sakura burst through the door, showing two unconscious Anbu laying on the floor behind her. Lady Tsunade, you cannot let this happen. Naruto should not be forced to marry someone he doesn't even love. She yelled out, clenching her fist. I was all happy about the other things for him, but I refuse to let this stupid wedding thing happen. Sakura, that's enough, Tsunade said, standing up. If you want to be upset, then that's your right, but knocking out my Anbu, along with ranting and raving is not. I don't care. I came to a realization recently. I once told Naruto a lie to stop him from going after Sasuke, but what I said is actually true, Sakura said, putting her red face down. I love you, Naruto Uzumaki, and I want the option to explore that. This time, Naruto joined the others in the room in being wide-eyed and speechless. Tsunade looked at her apprentice, Sakura, and couldn't help but feel sorry for her, even if she knew there was anything she could do. Sakura, I wish there was. I'm not done yet. I'm not the only girl who loves Naruto and would like the chance to have a relationship with him. Sakura said, looking back up, her face still red. I'm speaking off course about Hinata. She's been in love with Naruto since before even the Ninja Academy. How is it fair that she and I are denied the chance like this? There was a gasp and a couple of thuds, and everyone looked over and saw that Hinata had fainted and was laying on the office floor with a dark red face. Tsunade looked over at Naruto to see if he going to say anything, but found he had fallen out the window and was on the roof laying, in shock. Tsunade shook her head at the sight at not one, but two of her ninjas, one a Chunin, the other a recently appointed Jonin, acting like a bunch of school kids. This is not what I need right now, Tsunade said, sitting back down. Sakura, come here a second. Sakura walked over to the desk and leaned in as Tsunade leaned forward. Look, Sakura, none of us are completely happy with the situation, but take a look over at Temari for a moment. She said, in a whisper voice that only Sakura could hear. Tell me what you see and hear right now. Sakura looked over to where Tsunade was looking at. Temari was outside on the roof kneeling next to Naruto, talking to him with a smile. Hard to believe someone like you would faint, Temari said, grinning. You sure are something else, Naruto. Not funny at all, Temari-chan, Naruto responded, looking up at her at a small smirk. Are you going to help up, or just stare at my handsome face all day? Maybe I should leave you here, fox boy, Temari replied, returning the smirk. And to think, after such a wonderful date last night, I was looking forward to our next one. So you're allowing me the honor of taking you out again, what's the catch? He asked, grinning. Nothing ramen related, and we're good, she replied, standing up and holding out her hand to him. Now get up, your friends probably have a lot of questions. And will soon have more, no doubt. Sakura turned back to Tsunade. Just because they look happy, doesn't mean anything. Naruto is a nice and really likable guy, Sakura said, putting her hands on the desk. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on him. You're too much like me, so I figured as much already, Tsunade said, folding her hands together. You were there when I told him about this. Well, most of it, but you should know that it would cause problems for both the Leaf and the Sand villages if this arranged marriage were called off. Be that as it may. Naruto deserves happiness, and so do I and Hinata, Sakura said, defiantly. Consequences be damned, Lady Tsunade, I will be pursuing him, and I might even get Hinata too as well. Fine, whatever, do what you want, just do it later, I have things to discuss still, Tsunade said, holding the bridge of her nose. Why don't you go do your rounds in the hospital since you know this stuff anyway? Fine, but I will keep my word, Sakura said, pulling her hands off the desk. I gotta go do some work at the hospital, but Naruto. Don't think I'm going to give up on you, and my love I have for you. She blew a kiss at him before giving an evil look at Temari, who gave her an equally nasty look back. Don't try anything, Pinky. Temari said, crossing her arms. I think Naruto is a great guy, and if you think I'm just going to sit here and let you take him, you're barking up the wrong tree, honey. Before a few days ago, you hardly knew him that well, Sakura said, walking to the door, as the others moved out of the way. Me and Hinata over there, on the other hand, have known him most of his life, that gives us the edge. If you got a problem, I'll be glad to help you clear it up, Pinky, Temari said, walking towards her. So go on, say something, I dare you. I'd be happy to, sand bitch, Sakura said, clenching her fists. When and where? Enough you two. Sakura, go do your duties, now, Tsunade said, slamming her fist on her replacement desk, hard enough to leave a dent. And you and I are going to have long discussion about things later, young lady. But what about Temari? She was also saying stuff, Sakura said, pouting. Shut up, billboard brow, just go, Ino said, putting her hands on her hips. You're the one causing problems right now, not her. Ino took Sakura's shoulders and pushed through the door, closing it behind her. Go cool off, Sakura. Ino said, to her, from inside the office. We'll talk later, go ahead, Lady Tsunade. I'm taking Naruto too. Get focused. You can go ahead since I know this stuff already, Temari said, gently taking a hold of Naruto's shoulders. Come on, Naruto, let's go. I'll get you some ramen. Naruto, who was kind of out of it from learning that his longtime crush, Sakura, liked him back, and that Hinata liked him too, nodded absently and let himself be walked away by Temari. She put her arm around him and walked him out the door. Will Naruto be alright? Hinata asked, finally recovering from her faint and fall. And, did Sakura really tell him that I like him? I'm afraid so, Hinata. Tenten said, standing next to her. The cat's out of the bag, I guess. In any case, I do have more to tell you, Tsunade said, standing up. Are you all composed enough for me to continue, or do you need a few more minutes? Her question was obviously directed at Hinata, who she was looking at. Hinata was looking down, but gave a small nod in response. Tsunade nodded back to her and leaned against her desk. All right then, as I said, Naruto and Temari are being forced into a political marriage, but that's not the end of my news about him, Tsunade said, looking around the room. Naruto could be considered the most royal person in the Leaf Village, as he is related to some of the most powerful and well-known ninjas to ever grace the Leaf Village, and the world as a whole in general. While most of the individuals present didn't how to respond, Neji, who while also surprised, was used to hearing extraordinary news and remaining calm, spoke up. I see. How is this possible exactly, Lady Tsunade? He asked calmly, though those who knew him well enough could see a bit of shock dancing in his eyes. As some of you may know, I am related to the first and second Hokages. Naruto is as well, she said, to them. And furthermore he is also related to the fourth Hokage and me as well. The fourth Hokage. Tsunade held her ringing ears, that kind of hurt from the loudness of everyone yelling at the same time. You people are even more loud than Naruto can be sometimes. Tsunade mumbled, holding her head. If you are done, I'll continue. Tsunade then explained Naruto's connection to the first and second Hokages. Then she told them of how his mother, and the wife of Minato Namikaze, was known as the fierce and powerful Kunoichi, known as the Red Habanero, Kushina Uzumaki. And the powerful Uzumaki clan and its village, the Hidden Whirlpool, was so well respected by the first and second Hokages that to this day we honor them by displaying the village's spiral symbol on many things including Chunin and Jonin vests. Tsunade said, in one long sentence. Now, after all I've explained, are there any questions? What does this mean for Naruto's standings, privileges and responsibilities? Shikamaru asked, as one of the few calm people there. I figured that you'd be the one to know stuff like this, Tsunade said, grinning. Yes, those things will change for him as a result of this information being made public now. These lies are outrageous, Tsunade, Koharu Udatane said as she stood up. Just how far will your lies go, to make that demon seem like a hero and noble person? You're dismissed from the council as of this moment, Koharu. Grab your shit and don't come back, Tsunade said, trying to control her anger. And if you feel the same way as she does, then you can join her, Homura. You have no say in such a thing, you need to learn your place, Homura started. No, you need to learn your place, you old hags. Tsunade yelled out, now get out my office, get your crap, and leave or I'll have you escorted out against your will. Do I make myself clear? Both Homura and Koharu looked they were going to say something more, until Tsunade snapped her fingers and two Anbu appeared beside them. The Anbu walked the two out the door, and it wasn't long before the sounds of footsteps faded. Now, as I was explaining, Naruto is the last of two different and powerful clans, so yes, he will soon be required to have a seat on the council, and a few other responsibilities that will be determined as we go along, Tsunade said, sitting on the edge of her desk. I will also be assigning some bodyguards to him at his new house and maybe even a few of you Chunin during missions he goes on, though those will be somewhat more limited than before. Now, I suggest you all take some time for this massive wealth of information to set in, Tsunade said, walking behind her desk and sitting down. You're all dismissed. Everyone slowly made their way out of the office, with Tenten and Neji putting their hands on Hinata's shoulders to comfort the girl, who would no longer be able to get with her longtime crush. Close by, Naruto had finished his 10th bowl of ramen, while Temari sat next to him, with several of her own bowls in front of her, 3 total. The owner of Ichiraku Tyuki had been a bit surprised when she wanted a second and then third bowl of ramen. She had simply said that was some stupid girl who constantly worried about occasionally gaining a few pounds, and that she could easily work off any extra calories with training. After they finished, they walked away towards the Uzumaki clan area, with them walking side by side. Feeling bold-ish, Naruto slipped his hand into Temari's, and was pleased to find she closed her hand around his, squeezed his hand gently. They had really come to like one another, and though it was hardly love yet, it wouldn't be long before it turned into it. They made their way down the street, through the gate and up the path that led to their home. They decided after the things that had occurred already they would take the rest of the day off, to relax and enjoy each other's company. So Naruto-kun, when can I expect a second date? Temari asked, as they sat down on the roof of their house. I really found our first one to be really fun overall, so I hope the second one will be too. Naruto looked over, and despite feeling a little strange still from the stuff being talking about at the Hokage's office, gave her a smile. Don't worry. How about tonight? He asked, looking hopeful. I know you don't want to go anywhere, so. I know I make you dinner here. You make dinner for us. No offense Naruto, not your kitchen skills are a little lacking, Temari said, giving a smile. Maybe you do that some other time after you practice a bit more. No really, I can do it. I can have my clones read every book on cooking they can find at the library and I'll practice a bit too, Naruto insisted. I've cooked before you know. Pervy Sage had me learn a few things, I just never made eggs before, that's why it didn't turn out so great. Well, okay if you really want to set up something, go for it, I'm looking forward to it, Temari said, standing up. I'll see you later. Where you going Temari-chan? Naruto asked, standing up too. Well if we're going to have a date, I need to get a nice looking outfit for tonight. She said, smiling. I told you I never went out on date before my one with you, so I don't much in the way of date appropriate clothing to wear. You don't have to dress up, just wear what's comfortable, I'm sure you'll look great, he said, with reddening face. She grinned and gave him a quick kiss on his cheek, before walking away. That's sweet, but even I like to dress up sometimes, she said, crouching down to jump onto the balcony to get inside. Then she added, in a somewhat sultry voice, I think you'll like it too, Naruto-kun. She left the red-faced Naruto standing there saying, wow. As he said, Naruto sent several clones to the library and spent the next several hours reading every cooking book they could find. After reading and reading, the clones began to dispel and Naruto slowly absorbed the information they had learned. As soon as he absorbed the info from the last clone, he immediately began trying out different recipes, hoping to come up with the perfect dinner date for Temari. While Naruto was preparing dinner, Temari was in town looking for the perfect dress, and she was having a few problems. She hadn't really brought much in the way of dresses and didn't know which shops had what. I should have just said it was a casually date like the first one was. Temari said to herself, I wonder what places around here have good dresses. Temari, a female voice said from behind her. What are up to? I thought you went off with Naruto earlier. Temari turned around and was Ino standing there. Oh Ino, hi, Temari said, looking at her. I'm actually looking for a nice dress for my date with Naruto tonight, but I've never shopped for anything like that, neither here or in the Sand Village. Shopping. Date. Eek kkkk. Ino squealed out at her. OMG. I love shopping. Can I join you? Please say yes. Temari was sure about going anywhere with the shrill girl, but didn't really know any other females in the city, so she didn't have much choice. Sure if you show me where the best shop for dresses are, Temari said, reluctantly. Deal. Ino squealed again, much to the annoyance of Temari. Awesome. Okay let's go, she said, pulling Temari alone like a rag doll. We're going to have so much fun. Somehow I just know I'm going to regret this, Temari said, trying to keep on her feet as Ino pulled her along. After a long time of being shown the shops, Temari settled on getting a kimono instead of a dress. She picked out a black-colored with dark blue flower-adorned kimono, a red obi belt, and matching sandals. I thought a dress would be better, but I gotta say, that kimono really suits you, Temari, Ino said, smiling. Naruto's going to forget how to breathe when he sees you in this. Well, I don't know about that, but I do hope he thinks I look good in it, I suppose, Temari said, looking in the mirror. I'm not really a girly girl or anything, but all the same I gotta admit, I do feel nice dressing up like this. I know right. Anyways, go take it off and get changed so we can leave, Ino said, setting down her bags. And I wanna hear about your date tonight with Naruto too. Well actually, I'm letting Naruto come up with it again, he insisted on it in fact, Temari said, as she changed out of the fancy kimono and got back into her normal attire. Honestly, I'm feeling excited and nervous at the same time about our second date. The first was a lot of fun, so I'm hoping this one will too. Really? Well, I'm sure it will be magical, Ino said, grinning. You're so lucky to have found a great guy like Naruto. I mean I noticed him before, but with the stupid war crap going on I never got a chance to make a move. Yes, I suppose I am, in a way, Temari admitted. I never would have considered dating him before, but after getting to know him a bit, I think like the idea of marrying him. After they were done, they bid each other farewell and went their separate ways, with Temari really looking forward to her date. She soon arrived at home and found a note attached to the door from Naruto. She quickly pulled it off the door and looked at it. Dear Temari, meet me out in the garden, behind the house, at the open space part in the western end with all the shade at 5:30, signed Naruto, she read out loud. That like, 0.45 minutes from now, I gotta get changed into this kimono. She grabbed her bags, raced inside and up the stairs to get changed. After about a half an hour she was finally ready, with about 15 minutes to spare too. Should I go out there early? Or would that ruin it? Temari said to herself. Well, I guess I could just make my way towards that area and walk really slowly to kill time. With her mind made up, she slowly and carefully walked down the stairs, as she not used to wearing Geta sandals. She honestly liked her normal attire better, but this was a special occasion and she'd worn kimonos before, so it wasn't completely horrible at least. She slowly walked through the large house till she reached the back area, and went outside into the backyard area. She hadn't really been out in this area before, only once really, and only knew a little about the layout. She turned and started walking west to the area Naruto wanted to meet her in. After about 10 minutes, since it was a really big garden and she was walking slow on purpose, she neared where she was going to meet Naruto. She just stepped out into the opening when she saw Naruto, dressed in a black kimono with orange belt, and black and orange jacket standing there lighting a few candles. Naruto, you look pretty handsome, though I'm surprised to see so much black and so little orange, Temari said, walking forward. And this dinner also looks incredible, you didn't have to go this far. Naruto turned around and his cheeks heated up as he stared at Temari in her kimono. Wow, you look really beautiful, Temari, he said, looking over every inch of her. Wow. Temari also felt her cheeks turn red from slight embarrassment at being looked at in such a way by a guy. With her reputation and the way her brother Gaara used to be, most guys were either too scared of her brother, or just not seemingly interested in her for some other reason. So this was both unusual and very nice to her. She shook herself out of her frozen state and walked forward to him. Now it was his chance to be shocked and happy, because Temari walked up to him and wrapped her arms around him. She rested her chin on his shoulder and simply stayed there. Temari-chan, this is really nice, but why? Naruto asked, blushing. I don't know, it just felt right to do, she said, smiling and blushing. Not many people have ever called me beautiful before. Just my mother when she was still alive, no one else, so to hear that you think I'm beautiful feels nice. Well, it's true, so, Naruto said, trailing off, as they pulled away from each other. So shall we start our date? Love to, she said, walking over to her chair. Looks romantic, I like it. Naruto was about to sit down when some of Ino's advice ranged through his head. Whenever your date is going to sit in her chair, you always pull it out for her and push her in. Before she asks to you too, remember that, Naruto. Here, let me, Temari-chan, he said, pulling out the chair for her. Thank you, Mr. Gentleman, Temari said, sitting down and letting him push her in. You obviously didn't learn your manners from Jiraiya though, huh? No way. I don't think he knew the meaning of manners, he said, snickering as he sat down, fidgeting in his kimono. Stupid kimonos. Why are they so uncomfortable? Temari just laughed at him for a moment. I somehow figured you weren't a dress-up type, she said, grinning. Though the fact that you did it for me is really sweet. Yeah, you're welcome, he said, rubbing the back of his head. I did do it just for you after all. So what are we having, oh Romeo? She asked in teasing manner. He lifted up the tops covering the food to reveal their dinner. I made baked salmon, with roasted mushrooms, green peppers, and sprinkled with chopped onions, curry, and garlic. Naruto said, proudly. We also have a salad, even though I'm not really into vegetables much, with light salad dressing, some red wine and a piece of chocolate cake for dessert. You like, and here I thought you couldn't cook very well, your shadow clones are quite the useful thing, huh? She said, very impressed. It looks great, and this quiet dinner date was a great idea, Naruto-kun. They ate while chatting a bit in an effort to get to know each other a bit better and were about to have dessert, when a female voice said, fancy running into you here, Naruto. Temari and Naruto looked over and saw Sakura, of all people, standing there smiling. Sakura, what the heck are doing here? How did you even find your way here? Naruto asked, wide-eyed. That's easy, I follow one of your clones that was brining back fish, while concealing my chakra, she said, very calmly. Tell me, do you like my dress? Sakura was dressed in a low-cut, sleeveless black dress, that ended at her mid-thighs. She also had a pair of pink high heels on, that she obviously wasn't used to wearing. You like, Naruto-kun? She asked, walking forward, while swaying her hips, seductively. Walking in heels isn't easy, so you better appreciate it. What the do you think you're doing here, ruining her date, you pink-haired slut? Temari yelled, jumping up. Get your slutty little out of here before I kick your little SS. Now, Naruto doesn't like girls with foul mouths like that, do you, Naruto? She asked, as she walked closer. Forget this bitch and come have some fun with me, we can go on that date you're always asking me about. No, I want to stay here with Temari-chan, Naruto said, narrowing his eyes. You're my friend and teammate, but I want you to leave Sakura-chan. I know you don't really mean that, she's just making you hate me, she said, coming to a stop a few feet from him. Come on, take me out, Naruto. You know you want to. Temari walking in between Naruto and Sakura. Leave now, bitch, before I make you leave, Temari said, angrily. So, are going or not? Not, Sakura said, crossing her arms. Not without my Naruto, that is. Temari wasn't a type of girl to back down and was a tomboy by nature in many ways, so instead of saying anything else, she hauled back and clocked Sakura right in the middle of her face. Sakura stumbled back holding her face. Naruto wasn't sure how to react at this point, sure he wanted Sakura to leave, but at the same time she was his friend. You stupid blonde bitch, Sakura yelled, pulling her hand away from her face to reveal a very bloody nose, that was really gushing. I'm going to you up. She ran at Temari swinging, but despite being a Chunin kunoichi, she didn't have as much experience in hand-to-hand combat as Temari. She dodged out of the way, only receiving a small brush of Sakura's charged fist. Temari did feel a tiny cut on her cheek, but knew it was nothing major at the moment. However, she also knew about Sakura being able to increase the strength of a punch to the point that she could turn a rock into dust, and she had to be careful. Sakura, there you are, stop it now, Ino said, running. I knew you were up to something, following Naruto earlier. Ino, Naruto asked, in surprise. What are you doing here? Yeah, sorry about interrupting your date, Naruto, Temari, but I was following Sakura here, to stop her from doing something stupid. Ino said, out of breath from running. Are you going to stop this and come with me, Sakura? Get out of here, Ino pig, I'm busy kicking this blonde bitches. Sakura said, holding her bleeding nose again. Looks like she's the one kicking your, but nevertheless you need to come back with me, Ino said, slowly wailing over to her. You should know I let Lady Tsunade know about you, and she said she would send over some Anbu to drag you back to her office. I convinced her let me try and stop you first, if you were up to something, but you only get one shot, Sakura. Damn it, Ino you bitch. I'm not going anywhere right now. Sakura said, growling. Get out of my way before I kick your too. Fine, I tried, She's all yours, Anbu, Ino said stepping aside. 3 Anbu appeared beside Sakura and grabbed her arms. The Hokage wants to talk to you, Miss Haruno, the one in the hawk-shaped mask said. Make this easy on yourself, girly, the one in the snake-shaped mask said. Fine, do it. The 3rd Anbu knocked Sakura out and disappeared with Sakura, and the hawk mask wearing Anbu, while leaving the snake mask wearing Anbu there. Sorry about the commotion, Geki, all good now? She asked, putting a hand on her hip. Yeah, it's fine now, Anko, thanks, Naruto said, stepping forward. Good timing too. We aim to please, brat, she said, grinning under her mask. Well, sorry about your date, at least it was interesting, right? Yeah, sure, it was, Anko. Keep up the jokes and you're not invited to the wedding, Naruto said sarcastically. Liked you catch me in a dress anyway, she said, taking off her mask. I might crash the party still, but it won't be in a dress. Isn't taking off your mask on duty against rules? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow. Not that I'm a expert or anything. Yeah, but tough shit, I'm a captain of a Anbu squad, so I only answer to the Hokage. She don't like she can kiss my fishnet clad, Anko said, grinning. Anyways, I gotta go, give my report and whatnot. See y'all later, brat. She ruffled up his hair as best she could for spiky hair, and put her mask back on, before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Yeah, I'll be going too. Bye you guys, have a good night, or at least try to, Ino said, before she ran off, into the night. Sorry our date turned out so bad, Temari-chan, Naruto said, looking over at her. Maybe our next one will turn out better. I don't know, a nice dinner, a mostly quiet evening, and I got to hit someone. Temari said, holding her hand. I thought it was an overall good night, more or less anyway. Well, I think this is enough excitement for one night, Naruto, Temari said, looking over at him. I'm going to call it an evening. You coming? Yeah, I guess, he said, walking over to her. Shall we? He held his arm out to her, indicating he wanted to link arms. Instead, she took a hold of his hand and pressed the side of her body up against his as they begin to walk. This is a nice way to end the night, huh? A nice little catfight, Temari said, leaning her head on his shoulder. Followed by a nice little stroll together. I'm not much for romance. But I like this. Yeah, me too, Temari-chan, he said, smiling at her. They walked together till they reached the back door, where they went inside and up the stairs. At the top of the stairs they separated and faced each other, holding hands. I wasn't sure at first about you. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't like you, Naruto said, holding her hands gently. I'm looking forward to the day we get married. I like you too, Naruto, she said, leaning into him. And I'm looking forward to our marriage too. Their lips met in the middle briefly, before pulling away. They leaned in and kissed again right away, before putting their arms around each other. They kissed for a few minutes before Temari pulled away. Sorry, I think we should stop before it gets too far. I wanna wait till our wedding night to do anything more, she said, smiling at him. And with that wine setting in, I don't think I'd be able to stop if we started again. Good night, Naruto. She walked away, and into her room, leaving a smiling and blushing Naruto standing there on his own. He walked to his own room, took off his kimono and fell asleep almost as soon as his head hit his pillow. For the next several weeks Sakura kept trying to interrupt Naruto and Temari whenever they were with each other. Tsunade had assigned Anbu to follow Sakura, and they ended up pulling Sakura and Temari apart from fighting almost on a daily basis. This was greatly getting on Naruto and Temari nerves as they came to really like each other, and it only got worse after Temari was made into a leaf ninja and placed on Naruto's team. Even after the first incident, when Tsunade discovered Sakura was drunk, before crashing Temari and Naruto's date, and she ended up throwing her into a cell overnight, Sakura seemed as determined as ever to break them up. After about almost 2 weeks had passed, Tsunade had received a letter from the Fire Lord about the Restoration Act that the Hyuga clan, the Aburami clan and originally the Yamanaka clan as well, had requested be enforced. Looks like these clans have legitimate claim for this. This is just another headache I don't need, Shizune, Tsunade said, shaking her head. Send out a copy of this to the Hyuga and Aburami clans ASAP. Yes, Lady Tsunade, Shizune said, taking the paper. So what are we going to do about this? I've been thinking about this and we have about 3 weeks left before the Fire Lord visits about this matter. Tsunade said, looking up at Shizune. If Temari and Naruto were to marry before or around that time, then the disputing clan's request would be overthrown. Why would it be overthrown by that? Shizune asked, raising one eyebrow. Why would them marrying before he visits make a difference in this situation? Because this was an arranged marriage set up by 2 village councils, Tsunade said, smiling. And according to a paper I found while searching through the vaults before, when we were trying to overthrow the original arranged marriage, says a request for the Clan Restoration Act would then be considered null and void. Besides, I've had the strangest feeling for a short time now that someone or something is coming to our neck of the woods. Very soon, Tsunade said, looking out the window. It's only a feeling, but the last time I felt this I ignored it and it turned out to be pain of the Akatsuki. Well, I hope you're wrong this time, considering all that's happened recently, Shizune said, walking up next to her. Though I do wonder what the future will bring for us, I'd rather it not be yet another disaster. Tsunade looked over at her briefly before turning back to the window. Yeah, so do I, Shizune. So do I. I will get stronger and kill him, Sasuke Uchiha said, as he and Madara walked through the forest. They had begun travel a few days ago and were looking for strong allies to assist them in exacting revenge against Naruto Uzumaki and perhaps the Leaf Village as well, just for fun. They were currently on their way to the Hidden Rain Village to look for recruits. They were wearing cloaks to hide their identities and also used genjutsus to further obscure themselves. They paddled their small boat up to the dock area by the entrance to the village and got before tying the boat up to a post. Then they walked up to the gate that was guarded by 2 Rain Village guards, one very tall and slim, the other was average height and quite muscular. Halt! What reasons do you have for entering the Rain Village? The tall guard, standing at the front gates asked. State your business. I don't have to explain anything to a loser like Ao. Sasuke yelled, as Madara smacked him in the head. Forgive my idiot son, he doesn't have many manners, I'm afraid, Madara said, stepping forward. We are simply travelers, looking for food, supplies, and a little rest. The guard looked them over for a moment with a raised eyebrow, before moving aside. Fine, you may enter. After we issue you some temporary passes for. How long will you be here for? Oh, probably not more than a few days at the most, say 3 days, maybe less. Madara said, pretending to be polite. We'll definitely be gone before the end of 3 days. The guard wrote them up a couple of 3 days town passes and handed them to Madara and Sasuke. They were about to walk through into the village when the other guard blocked them. There were a lot of problems in our not so distant past with the Akatsuki. Add that to the fact that I don't trust you too. The muscular guard said, in a deep voice. I'll be keeping an eye on both of you till you leave, so don't make any trouble or I'll have you skidding out the gates so hard, you'll have scars on your asses for the rest of your lives, got it? Sasuke sneered under his hood, while Madara nodded and said yes to them, before the guard moved to the side and let them pass. They walked on through and made their way through the city. Sasuke, for the time being I'll refer to you as Genji, which means 2 beginnings, an appropriate me for you, considering, Madara said in a whisper as they walked. In addition, you'll call me father or dad. Understand? Fine. Dad, Sasuke growled out, clearly unhappy about this development. Now what? I wasn't lying, by the way, when I said we need supplies, it is, after all, a long ways to the Leaf Village, Madara said, coming to a stop. You will take this list and this money, and gather our supplies. What? Why the hell should I do such commoner's work? Sasuke asked, in a nasty tone. And what would you be doing in the meantime, that's so important? Me. I will be looking for one of the 7 demon swordsmen who is rumored to live here, Madara replied calmly. Now go, we need to hurry up and get going. Or do you wish to procrastinate and not get what is ours? Just one problem, the 7 swordsmen are dead, Sasuke said, in a know-it-all tone. Unless we plan on using a corpse to help us. Ignorant boy. Don't assume you know everything, Madara said, in a harsh tone. There is a newer member of current generation of the 7 swords living here, and I will find him. Now go get our supplies, and stop complaining like a whiny little brat. Sasuke growled at him again, but stomped off to find some cheap merchants in town, without saying anything. Madara watched him leave before walking off to search for the clues about the location of the swordsman. I hope this doesn't take too long. I have just as little patience as the boy does when it comes to repaying the Leaf Village and Naruto Uzumaki in particular. Leaf Village. Back in the Leaf Village, Naruto and Temari's relationship was progressing nicely, despite Sakura's attempts to ruin it. She would continuously try to interrupt their dates and butt into when they were resting together after taking breaks during training. Kakashi had had enough and went to the Hokage to do something about it. He walked on the roof over to the open window of the Hokage's office. Yo, he called in, alerting the Hokage of his presence. Got a minute, Lady Tsunade? Kakashi? Why can't you and Naruto just use the door like everyone else? She complained, putting down her sake glass. So what do you want? Well, once again I'm here to talk about the issue with Sakura, Kakashi said, hopping through the window. She's just getting worse and worse. I don't even think it was this bad when Sasuke was on the team and she was in love with him. I should have figured as much, she replied, looking up at him. So what did you want to do about it? Well, considering Naruto and Temari are Jonin and Sakura, and Sire Chunin, maybe having Squad 7 officially break up unless there's an urgent mission, would be the best solution for things, Kakashi said, pulling out his Makeout Paradise book. What do you say? You have a point, I suppose. Fine, so be it, make sure you let them know, ASAP, she said, folding her hands. Anything else? If not, you're dismissed. He nodded to her before disappearing from her office in a whirl of leaves. I better get prepared, for when Naruto comes complaining about this, she said to herself, taking out some more sake. Which should be anytime now. Right, she was about Naruto showing up at her office, which happened about a half hour later. Yo, Grandma Tsunade, Naruto said, jumping through the open window. So you're breaking up Squad 7? Yes, but 1, it was Kakashi's idea, and 2, it will keep Sakura away from you and Temari, Tsunade said, sipping some sake as she walked close to her desk. Any questions? Yeah, just one. Can I have my own team? He asked, sitting down in her chair, and putting his feet up on her desk. I am a Jonin after all, and I have a lot of experience from Kakashi, Pervy Sage, and Toad Geezer. Well, maybe not Kakashi, but the other 2 definitely taught me a lot. Tsunade spit out the sake in her mouth and started laughing at him. She was even holding her stomach until she looked up and saw him with a confused expression on his face. You're serious, aren't you? She asked, as she stopped laughing, and sat down on the chair in front of her desk. Why the sudden interest? No real reason, but my dad taught a team, my mom probably taught a team, and most of the other Hokages hate teams. Naruto said, looking at her seriously. Besides, I want to pass on the will of fire that the old man 3rd Hokage and Pervy Sage entrusted to me. I see, very well, I'll allow you to take on a team with one condition. She said, crossing one leg over the other. This will be on a trial basis, and only if I decide the team is doing well, will you be allowed to stay one, do you agree? You got it, Grandma Tsunade, Naruto said, grinning as he stood up. I'll whip the team into shape, believe it. By the way, don't you want the list of soon-to-be graduating ninjas to choose from, before you leave? She asked, walking over to a filing cabinet. There are a couple of spots left for a squad captain for you to choose from. Oh, I'm not choosing a new team, I'm taking Closet Pervert's team, he said, flooding his arms. You know, Konohamaru, Moegi, and Udon. And what makes you think you can just take another team that already has a sensei? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Because I've seen the way he so-called trains them, he said, making quotation gestures in the air. They need to train right, and I'm the one who can do it. May I remind you that they need a captain who can motivate them, not one who is friends with them. Tsunade said, sitting down at her desk. Besides, Udon doesn't seem cut out for ninja work, he's shown a lot of promise in research and might be better suited for the cryptanalysis unit. Then get him put in there as an apprentice and I'll take the other two, he said, simply. Besides, after I'm done I guarantee they'll hate my guts. Just like I hated Pervy Sage's guts when he was training me. I see. Well, putting Udon into the cryptanalysis unit is one thing, but have you forgotten that you need 3 members for a squad? Tsunade said, handing him the papers with the soon-to-be ninjas lists on them. Pick a third and then you can do your plan. He looked the first paper over for a minute before looking at the second piece PF paper. This second paper isn't a newly graduation list. This is from a past one. But hey, Hanabi Hyuga isn't on a squad. And yet it says she graduated, I'm confused. Hanabi? Oh, there wasn't enough other graduates for her to be on a squad and I guess her father, Lord Hiashi, decided it didn't matter, Tsunade said, taking the paper, he handed to her. You want to use her on your squad? Why not? She related to Hinata and Neji, right? Naruto said, nodding to her. Where are the 3 of them right now? According to the schedule, Konohamaru and Moegi have the day off, and I assume Hanabi is at the Hyuga clan house right now, she said, looking at the mission and schedule reports on her desk. If you're serious about using them, I can have a messenger go fetch them and order them here. I am. So can you fetch them? He asked impatiently. I wanna get training them on chakra control and see which elements they are. Good plan, for a knucklehead. She said, grinning. Okay, I'll fetch them, so try to be patient, even if it's not one of your strong suits. She had 2 Anbu track down the 3 and after about 15 minutes, Konohamaru and Moegi arrived with Hanabi showing up minutes later. Nei-san, 2 of them cried out, jumping on him and hugging him. Guess which 2? While Hanabi stood there expressionlessly, waiting for the Hokage to inform her of what she needed. Tsunade waited for others to stop fooling around before she started talking to them. Good of you 3 to make it here in a short amount of time. I'm sure you're eager to know why you're here though, so I won't beat around the bush, she said, leaning forward. From this day forward, you 3 will be designated Squad 11, under recently appointed Jonin, Naruto Uzumaki. Konohamaru and Moegi cheered while Hanabi widened her eyes in response. It is very doubtful, father will approve of this, Hanabi said, looking at the Hokage. He only allowed Hinata to do so because he didn't even think she would graduate from the academy. I don't really see him agreeing to this. I don't remember asking him. He may rule the Hyuga clan, but I make the decisions when it comes to the village, Tsunade said, looking the pale-skinned girl. This decision is final, unless you want to interrupt him at important meets for something so trivial, so he can come argue with me about it. Hanabi visibly flinched at the thought, and said, I see, I will still need to inform him of this however. Fine, do so after training today, Naruto said, walking in front of them. We'll use Squad 7's training grounds, since my team has been broke up due to too many high-ranking members. If you don't know where the grounds are, then memorize it when we go there in a minute. Now move along, we need to get started. This is going to be so awesome, Konohamaru said, excitedly. Big brother Naruto is totally going to teach us some awesome jutsu. Be quiet, you moron, your voice is quite irritating, Hanabi said, nastily. If I have to endure being a team with you, I don't wanna have to hear you so much. Oh bite, me you stuck-up little brat, he yelled back, pull that stick out of yours and grow a sense of fun. How dare you speak to someone of my stature like this? Hanabi said, yelling at him. You are nothing more than a little owl. Naruto had calmly walked behind them and smacked them both in the back of the head, hard enough to make them stumble. Both of you need to shut up, he said, looking down at them. I won't stand for bickering like this on my team. You don't have to become best friends, but you will respect one another and get along. Do I make myself clear, maggots? You have no more right to touch me than he does to talk to me in such a way. Besides, maggots, if anyone here is a maggot it is you, Hanabi said, before getting smacked in the head again. Shut your mouth little brat, I'm your teacher, a Jonin, and I'm far older than you, so shut it down and don't talk back or I will make your life a living hell, little girl, Naruto said, leaning close and letting a little killer instinct flow off. Do I make myself clear? She shuddered slightly but maintained a still pose before answering with yes in a small quiet voice. Good, now move out, our destination is Squad 11 training grounds, formerly Squad 7's, Naruto said, opening the door and pushing them through. Now walk, and keep your mouths shut unless it's important. After he closed the door Tsunade was quite stunned at what had taken place just a moment ago. Was that really the same knucklehead that used to whine about getting better missions? She said, out loud, to herself. I think I need to see his unique training methods in action. She leapt out the window and made her way to the training grounds to watch her grandson and his squad in action. She soon arrived and was pleased to see we're just walking into the area. Okay you three, have a seat, he said standing in front of them. Now, first off, tell me your names, likes, dislikes, and goals. You go first Pigtails. He pointed to Moegi who nodded and started. My name is Moegi, I like my friends Udon, and Konohamaru, my big brother Naruto, training, missions and picking flowers. I'm not too fond of some of the D-rank missions, and Konohamaru's perverted jutsu. She said, before taking a breath. As for my goal, I want to be Naruto and then Konohamaru's assistant when they become Hokage, and for now I want to be a respectable kunoichi. Alright, very good, Naruto said, giving a small smile. You next, Scarfs. Konohamaru pointed to himself to make sure he next, and after Naruto nodded he said. My name is Konohamaru Sarutobi, I like my big brother Naruto, my friends Udon and Moegi, training, playing pranks and ramen. I don't like stupid D-rank missions, and certain pale-eyed stuck-up brats. My goal is to become the 7th Hokage. Idiot, you mean 6th Hokage, Hanabi said, snickering in a mean tone. Can't you even count right? Naruto is going to be the 6th Hokage, ugly SS brat. He yelled back, or is the stick up your SS poking your brain? Both of you, 20 laps around the training field after we're done here. Naruto yelled down at them, any more arguing will mean additional laps added to the 50 you three are already going to do. Firecracker, you're up, go. He was pointing at Hanabi when he spoke, who angrily mumbled about stupid nicknames and unfair senseis, before taking her turn. My name is Hanabi Hyuga, not Firecracker, I like bananas, milk, training with father, and I hate the bickering within my clan and ignorant morons who wear scarves, she said, with narrowed eyes. As for my goals, I don't really have one, since I'm already expected to be either the next clan leader or else second in command to my sister, Hinata, if she continues to shape up to the elder's level of acceptability and becomes clan head. Once again Konohamaru and her began arguing, and Naruto simply added more laps for them, until Hanabi was about to use taijutsu on him and Naruto had had enough. That does it, Hanabi, I'm getting sick and tired of you starting shit, he said, grabbing a hold of her from behind. Konohamaru, Get running your laps now. 100 laps, Moegi. Get to your 50 laps, move. He sat down on the ground roughly, bringing Hanabi down with him, between his legs. He wrapped his arms around her tightly and held her wrists so she couldn't move much. She struggled against him of course and tried to break out of his grasp. Ouch, my butt, hit the ground hard you idiot, what are you doing to me, let go this instant. She yelled, wiggling against him. You have no right to do this, you moron. I'll let you go when you calm down, firecracker, he said, holding tightly. I can't have you picking fights with Konohamaru and causing problems. You're not physically strong enough to get out of my hold either, so calm down if you want me let go. I'm not calming down at all you asshole. She yelled, squirming as hard as she could muster. I'm going to kick your stupid ass, when I get free. Sure. Go for it, firecracker, he replied, calmly. You'll only wear yourself out faster. Sure enough, just as he said, a short time later she was struggling less and less as she became tired out. She gave a few more barely their movements to break free, but then just gave up and collapsed against him. He let go of her wrists and stood up, making sure to catch her so she wouldn't hit the ground. He carefully picked up the tired-out girl and leaned her against a nearby tree, putting his folded-up jacket behind her head. He then reached into his hip pouch and pulled out a small canteen of water and a bag of trail mix. He handed them both to the weakened girl before talking again. I want you to drink the water, eat the trail mix, and rest till your strength is back. Naruto said, crouching down face level to her. After you're rested you'll be in your laps. If you don't finish them today, then you'll continue them tomorrow. Do you understand? She was too tired to argue, so she nodded, took the food and water he handed her, and started eating right away. Don't drink too fast though, it's not good for you, he said, looking down at the girl. I'm going to go join those two in doing laps. When you feel rested enough, join us. And don't pretend to be exhausted the entire time, 'cause I will be checking on you. She nodded briefly and continued to eat and drink to regain her energy. After resting, she felt much better, so she decided to stand up and stretch before doing the laps she was told to do. She waited for her teammates and sensei to near her and before she joined them in sprinting alongside them. Glad to see you're joining us, Hanabi, Naruto said, grinning despite the sweat running down his face. Do your best to keep up. Come on, Konohamaru, Moegi, get your butts in gear, you're almost done, then you can take a short break before I decide on whether you doing anything more today or not. The four of them did lap after lap, with Moegi finishing up first, and proceeded to collapse by a tree, where they ate and drank the snacks Naruto had brought along for them. Naruto, Hanabi, and Konohamaru on the other hand continued to run since they had more to do than the Moegi. Eventually Konohamaru finished as well and joined Moegi by the tree, laying on his back, panting, while Naruto and Hanabi continues running laps around the training field. Naruto looked over, time from time to make sure she was doing okay, since she was quite exhausted before. It wasn't long before he noticed her slowing down and getting tired again. The energy she had regained from the snack he had given her was wearing off, in addition to not being used to running so much. She stumbled and almost fell on her face, if not for Naruto grabbing her waist at the last minute, preventing her from eating ground. Hanabi, I think we should call it a day, and I'll even forget about the other laps since you did so well without complaining. Naruto said, standing her up. Hanabi, you're asleep, ha, sleeping on your feet, I wish I had a camera. He easily picked up the light girl and hoisted her over his shoulder, before walking over to Moegi and Konohamaru. Okay you two, I was going to have us do some chakra control exercises, but since Firecracker here, latterly fell asleep on her feet, and it is getting late, I think we'll call it a day, Naruto said, getting a better grip on the sleeping Hanabi. Come on, let's get you two home okay. Naruto, Konohamaru and Moegi then walked off together so he could drop them off and carry Hanabi to her clan's house. Tsunade watched them walk off and couldn't help but smile along with Shizune, who had joined her a short time ago. I think Naruto is going to make a great sensei, Shizune said, smiling at Tsunade. A little unorthodox, especially his way of calming Hanabi Hyuga down, but very effective nonetheless. I agree completely, Shizune, Tsunade said, as she started walking back towards the Hokage Tower. I think his temporary status is now a permanent one. I can't wait to see what that kid does next. Speaking off the kid, Naruto had dropped off Moegi and Konohamaru at their homes and walked along the streets till he got to the Hyuga clan estate. He walked up to the front gates and was met by a female Hyuga guard. Halt! Who goes? Uzumaki-sama, my apologies, to what do we own this nightly visit? She asked, bowing. And, is that Lady Hanabi? You don't have to call me Sama, and yeah it is, I'm her sensei now and I brought her home, he said, slightly irritated with the whole Sama suffix thing. She fell asleep during our squad's training, so I carried her home. Can I bring her in? I need to fetch you an escort first to show you in and out, it's the rules, she said, looking at him. Neji Hyuga has mentioned you being his friend, I could get him to do this task, is that expectable, Lord Uzumaki? Just call me Naruto please, he said, shaking his head. And yeah, could you have Neji do the escort thing? Of course, Naruto. Just a moment please, she said, before speaking into her headset. Yes, Neji is requested at the front gates, it is for escort duties, yes, thank you. He will be out momentarily. Cool, thanks, what's your name? He asked, shifting Hanabi for a better grip on her. Man she's light, don't she eat anything? My name is Asuka Hyuga, it is nice to meet you, she said, somewhat nervously. By the way, Naruto, you should carry Lady Hanabi in a different position than that. If any of the main branch were to see her being held in such a manner, they may get mad. Okay, Naruto said, as he pulled her off of his shoulder, and held her in a bridal style. How's this? I suppose that is more acceptable. Oh, Neji-san you're here, she said, looking over her shoulder. Naruto is he to bring back Lady Hanabi from training? It is good to see, Naruto, but what is this I hear of training? He asked, raising an eyebrow ever so slightly. I was not aware she training this late in the day, nor that you were with her. Well I was just assigned as her sensei for the newly formed Squad 11, which is replacing Squad 7 inches Naruto said, squirming a bit as Hanabi snuggled into him, and continued sleeping. Okay, anyways, I've taken on her, Konohamaru, and Moegi. She fell asleep during our training of her running laps around Squad 7 training grounds. Squad 7 is no more. And you've been assigned to be her sensei. This is all a lot to take in. Neji said, crossing his arms. Does this have something to do with Sakura being a pain recently? Yeah, I mean Squad 7 can reform if there's a shortage of highly trained ninja needed for something, but yeah, she was driving me and Tamari nuts, this way, it will stop her from interrupting us so much. Naruto replied, to him. I also wanted to have my own squad and Grandma Tsunade agreed, then I noticed Hanabi didn't have a squad and I needed a third member, so I picked her. Interesting, I'm surprised Lord Hiashi agreed to let Lady Hanabi join a ninja squad. Neji said, holding his chin. Nonetheless, we should bring her inside, follow me, Naruto. Sure, but I didn't ask Hiashi, nor did Grandma Tsunade, I decided I wanted her, simple as that, he said, walking forward. Oh, and I'll see you around Asuka, I hope we can be friends. Asuka blushed and nodded in response to him but remained silent. Wait, you didn't get permission? Neji asked, as he came to a stop. If not, then I doubt he will allow this, especially since you started training her before you asked him, though I do suppose you doing this is simply the unique Naruto Uzumaki way you follow, isn't it? Something like that, Naruto said, grinning. Well, aren't you going to lead me to her room? I mean she really light and all, but I do wanna get home at some point. Oh, yes, of course this way, my friend, Neji said, as he resumed walking inside and down the hall. It's not far to her room anyways. So, you a sensei, how's life treating you as a sensei so far? Neji asked, grinning. It is everything you thought it would be. Ha ha ha, you're a riot, Neji. I've been it for one day, today, so I can't really say how it's been, Naruto said, thinking carefully. But I don't know one thing though, this little firecracker is one enormous pain in the ass. I really felt like punting her across the training field today, and she's lucky I didn't. Neji could help but laugh lightly at this prospect. I must say, that puts an interesting image in my mind, though I'm sure Lord Hiashi might not appreciate such a thing, nor would Hanabi. Well, if she would behave, then I wouldn't have had to even thought about it. Naruto replied, looking over at Neji. It really looks like most of the Hyugas beside Hinata, and now you, and that girl outside, Asuka, all have icicles stuck up their asses. Neji smirked and said, only you would be so blunt about these things, Naruto. In any case, we've arrived at Lady Hanabi's room. Oh, alright, could slid open the door for me? Naruto asked, walking up to the door. I need to put her in her bed and get a move on, before Tamari starts looking for me. Neji smirked again, and slid open the door for Naruto, who walked in, carrying Hanabi over to her bed. Naruto carefully pulled back the covers and laid the girl down before covering her up. He undid her headband and put it next to her before standing upright, and walking over to Neji, who was standing by the doorway. Well, I'm off to relax for a while, get some dinner, and spend some time with Tamari, Naruto said, smiling. Do me a favor and tell Firecracker there to meet me at Squad 11 training fields tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. sharp. If she doesn't show up, tell her I'm coming to get her myself. I'm still not sure what Lord Hiashi will think of all this, but I'll be sure to give Firecracker here the message, Neji said, smirking. See you tomorrow, Naruto. Naruto gave a wave before running off to get home, stopping only to wish his new friend Asuka a good night, before continuing on his way. He made his way home and arrived to find Tamari sitting on the couch, drinking tea. Naruto, I haven't seen you all day, where were you? She asked, putting down her tea. You look tired out, what were you doing exactly? Oh, I got my own squad to lead today, he replied, smiling at her. Squad 11, with me, Konohamaru, and Hanabi Hyuga. She was a pain in the, and I'm kind of tired from dealing with her. Hyuga, from the Hyuga clan, I always though they were reserved and well behaved, Tamari said, in a curious tone. But, congratulations all the same, on the assignment. I hope you have loads of fun being a sensei. You're being sarcastic, aren't you? Naruto asked, smirking. Well, you're the funniest girl I've ever met, to be sure. Anyways, I just want to eat dinner, relax and spend some time with most beautiful girl in the village, as soon as I find her. Yuren, you know that. Tamari said, grinning. Good thing I like you, or would just kick your little. If you can, bring it on, Blondie, he said, back grinning widely. You're asking for it now, Naruto-kun, she said, smiling. But I know the easy way to defeat you, wanna see me do it? Bring it, he said, crossing his arms. She smiled before slowly walking over to him, making sure to sway her hips. She made her way to him and put her mouth by his ear before blowing some hot breath into it. I really want you, my Naruto-kun, she said in a raspy voice, causing to Naruto collapse to the floor with a dark red face and a little blood richly out of his nose. She grinned at him on the floor and walked away laughing. Way too easy, my Naruto-kun, she said, walking into the kitchen. I guess I'll make him some ramen for when he recovers. Naruto recovered a few minutes later and went to find Tamari, but the smell of ramen drew him to the kitchen instead. He walked in to find Tamari sitting there, eating ramen while several bowls of steaming hot ramen was at the place on the table he usually sat at. You Tamari are a goddess and I love you, Naruto said, quickly kissing her and diving right into the ramen. Tamari sat wide-eyed for a second before laughing and shaking her head. If I had no getting you ramen would make you say you loved me, I guess I should have brought some before now, huh? Tamari said, laughing. Then again, I'm not sure if I should be happy you said you love me or disappointed it only was because I made you ramen that you said it. He stopped eating and looked at her before saying, Tamari, I do love really. And it wouldn't take ramen to make me say it, you don't really think that do you? Relax, I know that. I was just trying to mess with you, she replied smiling. Anyways, good night, I need to get some sleep, I've got things to do tomorrow. Ino invited me for a girl's day out. I'm not a girly girl, but it might be nice to talk to another female who isn't a psycho stalker of my fiancé. She walked to the doorway but before she left the room completely she said, by the way, Tsunade sent a note saying she wanted to see us tomorrow afternoon. And, I love you too, Naruto-kun, good night. Naruto ate the rest of his ramen and went to sleep with a big smile on his face. A beautiful girl didn't just like him, she loved him, and that was something he would cherish forever. Meanwhile back in the Rain Village, Sasuke was eating dango while wait for Madara to find clues on the elusive swordsman rumored to buy the village. He had already gathered supplies and was quite annoyed with waiting for the man to return. Hope you didn't wait too long, Genji, a voice said, to which Sasuke ignored, and continued eating his dango. I expect you to answer me next time, son, Madara said, sitting next to Sasuke. Or did you forget, Genji? Sasuke looked up and saw Madara sitting there with his arms folded. Oh sorry, I forgot about the name, Dad, he said, eating the last of the dango. Did you find a lead or not? I did in fact, a old contact of mine confirmed that one of the new demon swordsmen are living here. Though it's actually near the village, not inside, Madara said, standing up. Come, we have our supplies, don't we? We need to get some rooms for the night, as it is late, I am tired. Well go find the swordsman tomorrow morning. Sasuke growled at him but followed anyway, he hated to admit it, and he wouldn't out loud, but Madara did have a point. So they got a couple of rooms at a hotel and went to their separate ways. Madara fell asleep almost immediately, though Sasuke laid awake for some time, thinking about the joy he would get at killing Naruto and burning the Leaf Village to the ground. I will slaughter you, Naruto, Sasuke said, before dozing off himself. Back in the Leaf Village, Naruto sneezed in his sleep causing him to roll over and mumble about giant pepper shakers attacking his ramen castle. It was the next day and Naruto, Moegi and Konohamaru were getting impatient, as they sat on the ground next to a tree at the Squad 7 training fields, waiting for Hanabi to show up. That's it, I had Neji tell her to be here at 6:30 and I know he told her. Naruto said, standing up. I'm going to drag her little here. But what about us, Naruto-sensei? Moegi asked, looking up at him. Should we train or wait? Naruto thought for a second before answering her. Probably best to give them something to do, yeah they can train. Yeah, you two can do laps till I return with Hanabi, he finally said, looking at both of them. I'll try to get back quickly, if for some reason I'm not back in like 0.20 minutes, then do some light sparring, no weapons, jutsus, just hand to hand, okay. They both gave Naruto a nod and went right to running laps, while Naruto himself ran off towards the Hyuga estate. After jumping through the trees and then rooftops for a few minutes, he arrived at the front gates of the Hyuga clan house. He walked through the gates and saw the Hyuga guard from the day before on duty. Hey there, Asuka, how's it going? He said, grinning as he walked up to her. Naruto-sama, I mean Naruto, hello, what brings you back to the Hyuga estate? She asked, walking over to him. I'm here to drag Hanabi over to the Squad 11 training grounds, he said, still grinning. It seems she doesn't know about following orders too well from her sensei. I see, actually before I went on guard duty, I heard Neji-san trying to get Lady Hanabi to get ready and meet up with her squad, Asuka said, with sigh. Needless to say, she ignored him for the most part. Only Lord Hiashi can get her to do something without delay, I'm afraid. She's quite the little pain in the SS, huh? Naruto said, shaking his head. Oh, well, can I go on in and try to get her? I would never say such a thing about Lady Hanabi, Asuka said, in a light tone. Oh, and you will need an escort again, if you wish to go back into the house. Oh, okay, could you grab Neji again then? Naruto asked, putting his hands into his jacket pockets. Of course, just a moment, she said, walking over to the doors. Excuse me, could you retrieve Neji-san? Someone is here for Neji-san, Naruto is here. Hello, Naruto, Neji said, nodding his head, as he walked into view. I take it you're here for Lady Hanabi. Congratulations, you win the prize, Naruto said, folding his arms. Can you take to the little ankle biter? Neji grinned but only said to follow him inside and he would take Naruto to Hanabi's room. They walked in silence through several short hallways until they came to a stop outside Hanabi's door. Naruto walked up to Hanabi's door and immediately started knocking on the door. Hanabi, it's your sensei, Naruto, he yelled out, still knocking. Get your little ass in gear, you kept the rest of your squad waiting long enough as it is. Huh, Naruto. Well, it's too bad 'cause I don't have to listen to you, you commoner, Hanabi yelled from the other side of the door. You're just wasting your time being here, so go crawl back into the hole you came out of. That's it, Naruto said, sliding the door open hard and walking in, leaving a somewhat nervous Neji outside. Ah, what are you doing? Get out of my room. Hanabi yelled, keeping her blanket wrapped up around herself. I gave you no permission to enter. Tough, you need to get dressed now, firecracker, Naruto said, wailing over to her bed. I'm your sensei and I said be at the training grounds at 6:30, it's now almost 7 o'clock, so get dressed, now. What is that yelling from down there? A male voice asked from down the hallway. Lord Hiashi, Neji said, startled. My apologies, uncle. Hanabi's sensei is here trying to get her to get ready and join her squad, but she is refusing to. Hanabi, Hiashi yelled out, still standing at the end of the hall. I may not have approved of you being on a squad, but I have more important things to deal with, so for now you will obey your sensei and get yourself moving to join your squad. Do I make myself clear, young lady? Why, yes father, I understand, Hanabi said, wide-eyed, still sitting on her bed. Good, do not make a repeat habit of questioning orders from your superiors. Hiashi said, before walking around the corner and out of sight. Okay then, get ready, I said I would back quickly, Naruto said, tapping his foot impatiently. Fine, but you need to leave my room first, Hanabi stated, holding the blankets tightly. Oh no you don't, the minute I leave you'll just try to go back to sleep, Naruto said, raising an eyebrow. Let's go, are you insane? I cannot take down these blankets and get ready until you leave. She said angrily. And why not? He asked, confused. Am I missing something? You really are an idiot. I'm only wearing I'm only in my underclothing right now, she said in an angry tone, while blushing. As if you have anything anyone wants to see at your age, he mumbled under his breath before walking to the door. Just make sure you hurry it up, I know girls take forever to get dressed and all. Fine. And I heard that rude comment, you know. She yelled as he closed the door right before the pillow she chucked hit the door. By the way, he yelled through the door. If you're not ready in 10 minutes, then I'm dragging you by your ankles all the way to the Squad 11 training grounds, no matter how much or how little clothing you have on, so unless you want rug burn on your SS, I suggest you get moving. Pervert, Hanabi yelled before she began getting dressed. About 10 minutes later, and scowling, Hanabi opened her door and walked out, dressed in her ninja apparel. About time, though I really was going to have to drag you there, Naruto said, grinning. Come on, let's move. He ushered forward, and they walked out the door passing by the guard Asuka. Have a good day, Lady Hanabi, Naruto, she said, smiling at Naruto. Thanks. You too, Asuka, Naruto replied, waving to her. They walked out of the gates and Naruto crouched down holding his hands behind him. Someone hop on, you took like 10 minutes to get ready and it took me about 5 minutes to get to your house, so we're going to do piggyback so I can get us there faster, he said, looking over his shoulder at her. Well, but that is, such a thing is embarrassing, Hanabi said, blushing. Everyone will think I am a kid. That's because you are a kid. Besides, just ignore them. They're idiots if they stop to comment on things as common as piggyback riding, Naruto replied back to her. Now come on, and make sure you hold on tight, I'll be moving fast and I don't want you falling off and getting hurt. But how fast will you be? She screamed as he bounced from rooftop to rooftop at blazing speeds, before jumping into the forest and heading towards the training fields. They finally arrived exactly 4 minutes later and landed in a crouch in front of Moegi and Konohamaru, startling them both. See, that didn't take long at all, right, Firecracker? Naruto said, grinning as he stood up. Hanabi, you okay back there? She doesn't look so good, boss, Konohamaru said, with a sweat drop. Huh, Naruto said, looking over his shoulder. What do you mean? Indeed, Hanabi did not look well at all. Her eyes were bugging out of her head, her teeth were gritted tightly together, her hair was sticking out in every direction and she was holding onto Naruto still like she was a vice grip. Hey, are you okay, Hanabi? Naruto asked, concerned as he crouched down to let her off. I don't think I'll be doing that ever again. Do you remember how to speak, Hanabi? Never, again, ever, Naruto. She said, narrowing her eyes. Is there ground beneath me, yet? Yeah, you're fine, Hanabi, Naruto said, letting the girl off his back. Okay then, today we're going to work on a few things. First off, do any of you three know your elemental chakra affinities? Naruto asked, looking at the three, as he waited for any response. I take this silence as a no. Good thing I remembered, or rather Tamari-chan reminded me, to bring this with me, some chakra paper. Does anyone here know how it works? He asked, handing each of them a piece. That's easy. Chakra paper is harvested from specially grown trees and when chakra is applied, it reacts in one of several different ways, depending on which chakra type you are better suited for. Hanabi said, crossing her arms, and smirking. It's common knowledge to all ninja. Very good, Firecracker, Naruto said, patting the girl's head, gently. However, you shouldn't just assume that all ninja know this. I didn't know what it was, since my sensei never taught it to my genin team. So, one at a time I want you three to apply chakra to your piece of chakra paper so we can find out your elemental affinities, Naruto said, putting his hands in his jonin vest pockets. First Moegi, then Konohamaru, and finally Hanabi, go. Konohamaru applied chakra to his piece and it ignited and turned to ash. Then Moegi did the same and her piece became soggy, and finally Hanabi applied chakra to hers and it tore in half. I gotta say, even though I pretty much already figured out that Konohamaru would get fire style, and Moegi would get water, I really didn't think Hanabi's chakra nature would be wind, Naruto said, looking at the girl in question. That being said, you're pretty lucky in a few ways, my little firecracker. I am, she asked confused. Why? Because 1, it's called the battle nature due to it being great and deadly for both defense and offense, 2, it's very rare in the fire country, and 3, it's also one of my chakra affinities, so me and Tamari can teach you a few things, Naruto replied to the girl. So let's get to work, shall we? Now Konohamaru, even though it's my second affinity, I only know a few fire jutsus, and I can't teach you one of them, since it's too dangerous and without special toad oil, you can't do it anyway. Naruto said, putting his hand on Konohamaru's shoulder. But I can teach you the less dangerous ones. Really? Awesome. Let's go. I'll learn it real quick, believe it. Konohamaru yelled, jumping up and down. Calm down, Scarf Boy, Naruto said, smacking the boy in the back of his head. You're almost as bad as I was when I was your age. I'm going to send a clone with you to teach you some easy fire techniques I know. Moegi, unfortunately I don't know any water jutsus. But I can send you and a clone to the library to look up some starter water techniques that you can practice, he said, to her, smiling. I'll also be sending clone to find Kakashi-sensei to bug him till he agrees to teach you some water jutsu tricks. Well, what about me? Hanabi asked, putting her hands on her hips. Are you going to teach me some wind jutsus? Nope, he said simply, grinning at her. What do you mean, no? She said, raising her voice. Am I not good enough to teach? It is because of this morning. Not at all, but I need to teach you how to wield wind chakra, before you can use it, Naruto replied to her. I'll showing you a exercise on this, while my clone teaches Konohamaru about fire chakra. Kakashi-sensei will hopefully teach Moegi about water. I could be persuaded to, Naruto, said Kakashi, jumping down from a tree. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto exclaimed loudly. What are you doing here? Oh, I was just in the neighborhood, and felt your massive chakra signature nearby. Kakashi said, putting his make-out tactics away in his pouch. I thought I'd stop by and see how life as a sensei was treating you. Well, good to see ya, sensei. And it's going pretty good, for the most part, just a few small snags, Naruto said, glancing at Hanabi. So will you help out Moegi? Okay, Kakashi said, giving his famous eye smile. If you do me a favor in return. What kind of favor? Naruto asked cautiously. Is it anything hard? Not at all, though, to be honest. I'm not sure about what I want you to do, Kakashi said, standing in a thinking pose. How about, we just say you owe me one? Owe you one what? Naruto asked Kakashi, confused somewhat. What I mean is, you'll owe a favor of some sorts, at some time in the future. Deal, Kakashi replied, looking down at Moegi, after Naruto nodded a yes. So, are you ready to learn about water jutsus, Moegi? Sure, can I go ne-san, I mean sensei? Moegi asked, eagerly. Sure, go for it Moegi-chan, Naruto said, nodding. Do your best, okay. I'll do great, believe it, sensei. Moegi said, smiling before running off, with Kakashi slowly following behind her. Naruto smiled back, before turning to look at Hanabi. Okay. Grab 2 leaves for me off of a tree for me, if you would, he asked, folding his arms. Any 2 leaves will do. Hanabi mumbled before plucking 2 leaves off of a nearby tree and walking back over to him. He took one and let her hold on to the other, which had her staring at it, curiously. Okay, now what, smart guy? Hanabi asked, folding her arms, impatiently. What am I supposed to do with this leaf? Keep your shirt on, sheesh. Hold it in your hand, and watch me, he said, shaking his head. Pay attention to what I do, and you may want to activate your Byakugan while you watch. She quickly activated her Byakugan and watched as chakra flowed up Naruto's arm, and into his hand, before it split the leaf in 2. Naruto then looked over at her and grinned wildly. Pretty cool, huh firecracker? Naruto asked, looking at her. All you did was split a leaf in 2, moron, she said, sneering at him. True, but I did it using my wind chakra, he said, proudly. If you can learn to cut a lead in half, then you're one step closer to using your own wind chakra, my little firecracker. Huh, how do you do that? Hanabi asked, looking at her leaf. What's the difference between using wind and regular chakra? Why can only wind chakra cut through a leaf? Well, try to channel chakra into the leaf and see what happens, he said, grinning. Go on, try if you want. I bet since I'm a Hyuga with superior chakra control, I can do it, she said, grinning back. Just step back and witness the superior power of the Hyuga clan. Hanabi tried pumping her chakra into it the same way she did for the chakra paper a few minutes prior. But after a few minutes, she was grinding her teeth in frustration over nothing happening, and gave up. "It is impossible, you must have cheated somehow," she said, crossing her arms, angrily. "So much for the superior power of the Hyuga clan, huh, firecracker?" Naruto asked, smirking slightly. "You have to keep trying to focus and sharpen your chakra, in order to cut through the leaf." "But I just tried and I failed. I am a Hyuga and I must obtain perfection in all I do, just like I was forced to learn from father," Hanabi said, growling in a frustrated manner. "If I cannot do it, then what is the point? Shouldn't I focus on another way of learning to use wind chakra?" "There's no need to get too frustrated, Hanabi," Naruto said, crouching down and putting his hands on her shoulders. "I was also really frustrated when I was first taught this, but if I had given up so easily, then I never would have learned to use my wind chakra or save Kakashi-sensei, Ino, Choji and Captain Yamato from that really tough Akatsuki guy the first fought and beat. Just believe in yourself, you can do it," he said, standing up. "I believe in you, and I know you can do it, if you try. So get to it, and don't worry, I'll be here to help you along the way." "Huh," Hanabi stated, looking at him strangely. "He wants to help me? Why? Father always said if you're too weak to do it on your own, then you should just give up altogether, but Naruto, I suppose if I don't try, you'll never let me hear the end of huh? Fine, I'll keep trying, sensei," Hanabi said, blushing a bit. "What was that? Did you call me sensei?" Naruto asked, surprised. Just let me try the leaf thing in peace and quiet, moron," she replied, turning her head away from him. "Okay, I'll be practicing a few wind techniques that Temari's teaching me while you do," he said, chuckling as he walked a few feet away. "If you need help, just give a shout, okay firecracker?" Yeah, alright," she absently said, as she tried to concentrate on cutting into the leaf with her chakra. Hanabi tried to concentrate on her task at hand, but became more and more frustrated at making so little progress after an hour. She not even put a single cut into the leaf and was angry and ashamed at such abysmal progress. "Damn it," she yelled out in anger, stomping off to the edge of the pond in the training area, where she flopped down to the ground and folded her arms. "I'm a Hyuga, I am supposed to be perfect, and yet I cannot get such a simple thing right." "Why? Because you're trying for perfection and only stressing yourself out over it," Naruto said, walking up and flopping onto the ground next to her. "I can get just as frustrated as anyone when I'm trying to learn something new, but messing up, but getting stressed over it is pointless and unhealthy." Quote, quote. "Why are you getting stressed over learning to use wind chakra, anyway?" he asked, looking at the water. "When I was little and got stressed or angry or whatever, I used to talk to the old man Hokage, and it usually made me feel better. Maybe if you talk to me, you'll feel better." "It's nothing, I'm just not making any progress on using wind chakra," Hanabi replied, looking forward. Perhaps, I should just give up on it, I will only end up embarrassing both myself and you." "That's bullshit. So what, you haven't made any progress after an hour? Big deal. You just need to practice a bit more, that's all," Naruto said, looking over at Hanabi. "And I really don't see how you're an embarrassment to anyone. I'm not ashamed of you, I mean I made about the same amount of progress my first time learning the leaf exercise. Just try again, and go for a small cut instead of cutting the entire leaf in half. I believe in you, so don't worry so much, it'll give you wrinkles. Or at least that's what I've heard anyway." Are you sure?" Hanabi asked, looking up at Naruto as he stood up. "What if I don't do any better? Then I'll find a way to help you, till you can do it," he replied, walking away. "I'm your sensei and friend, and it's my job to make you, Konohamaru, and Moegi into great ninjas," so I'll do whatever it takes to help you three. Just take a few deep breaths, relax, and then go try again. And if you need help, make sure you come ask this time, instead of getting angry and stomping off, okay? Yes, Naruto-sensei, she said back, watching him walk away. And, thank you, Naruto. He gave her a grin before turning around and going back across the field. Hanabi took a few deep breaths and walked over to A, grabbing a leaf off of it. Okay, relax and take your time, try for a small cut of any size, Hanabi said out loud to her herself. I can do this, I will not fail this time. Once again, Hanabi set to work, trying to cut into the leaf, only this time taking her time, and going slowly. After several hours, she was still going at it, when Naruto walked up to her. Hey, you made a few cuts. Naruto said, out loud, making her jump. Sensei. Yes, I did make a few cuts, but only and few small ones, Hanabi said, looking at the leaf. I didn't do very well, after several more hours, did I? Are you kidding me? You did great, Hanabi-chan. Naruto said grinning. I'm really proud of you. Make sure to keep up the good work, alright? You're proud of me? Hanabi asked, in disbelief. I know you said, you wouldn't be upset if I didn't do well. But, you're happy that I made this small amount of progress. Sure, why wouldn't I be? He asked, as he ruffled her hair playfully. Why don't you take a break? I'm going to go check on Konohamaru and Moegi. I'll be back in a minute, okay? Hanabi couldn't help but smile, and blush as Naruto ran off to her teammates. Father never praises me for doing anything right, but sensei, maybe Naruto's not so bad after all. I will make you even more proud, Naruto, I promise. A few minutes later, Naruto returned with Konohamaru, Moegi and Kakashi following behind him. So, how did you two do? Hanabi asked, looking at her teammates. I made some water flow a little bit, but I couldn't do it very long, Moegi replied, swinging her ninja sandal. But I'm sure I'll do better, if I keep practicing. That's right, you will. Well done, Moegi-chan, Naruto said, patting the grill on the head. Keep up the good work. I can already do the burning ash jutsu, more or less, but I did just okay with a basic fire jutsu, Konohamaru said, rubbing the back of his head, sheepishly, like Naruto would. Yeah, and I wish you would have told me beforehand that you already knew a fire just you, Naruto said, back to him. Even if you didn't know your element, if you had told me you learned a fire technique already, I would have been able to help you better. Next time, let me know sooner, okay, Konohamaru? Sorry, boss. I mean sensei, Konohamaru replied, to him. So what's next? Well, I assume all of you know how to walk on trees using chakra, right? Naruto asked, looking around. Yup, sure thing. Yes, I was taught that some time ago. Good. How about water walking? He then asked, not getting a response this time. Okay, we'll learn water walking. Over to the water, you three. You have fun, Naruto. I might swing by tomorrow to help Moegi, again, if you want, Kakashi said, looking over at Naruto. Okay, thanks sensei, see ya tomorrow, Naruto asid, waving to him. Let's move, you three. Once at the water, Naruto turned around and looked at his three students. Now some would say, that if you can learn to walk on trees using chakra, then water walking is a cakewalk, he said, walking back and forth in front of them, but that's bullshit. Water walking is harder, and different than tree walking. Way harder. When you tree walk, you use your chakra at constant to walk on water, you need to constantly adjust it on the go, he said, coming to a stop. I want you three to come get into the water, and stand there in it with me. Let's go. Naruto rolled up his pant legs and walked over into the water, standing there. Come on you three, let's move. And if you don't want to get your shoes wet, take 'em off. The three of his students took of their ninja sandals and walked into the water, to join him. Good, Now we'll walk into the part that's like a 4 deep or so, he said, walking through the water. Let's move, brats. Konohamaru and Moegi followed him and stood next to him. Hanabi just stood there, not following. Naruto looked over at her, sighed, knowing that another fight might start. There is no way I'm getting my pants wet in the water, she said, crossing her arms. Just because Konohamaru doesn't mind getting his pants wet, and Moegi is wearing a skirt, doesn't mean I am. If you don't want to get your pants wet, then you got one of two choices. Naruto said, putting a hand on his waist. Either roll up your pant legs like I did, or take your pants off, either way, get your over here, Hanabi. She immediately rolled up her pant legs, not wanting to do the alternative, and walked over to the others. I'm here, can we get started already, she said, folding her arms. What do we do first? Well, focus your chakra onto the soles of your feet and try to practice shifting the amounts. Naruto said, as he applied chakra to his feet and walked across the water. You'll need to concentrate on varying the amount of chakra at first. But after you get the hang of it, you'll begin doing it automatically. Real quick standing there, try it out, he said, to them, grinning. Just do your best and I'll be proud of you, whatever, if any progress you make. Keeping in mind, Moegi, Hanabi, you two have better chakra control, but smaller reserves. He said, looking over at them. If you two feel tired out, tell me and take a break, got it? They all begin trying to stand on water, while Naruto did handstands on the water, and walked across it. After only a little while, Moegi and Hanabi became tired, especially Hanabi, who had already used a bit of chakra on her leaf exercise. The both let their feet sink through the foot of water to the bottom, and walked into the shallow part of the pond. Good job you two, take a break and let your chakra refill, Naruto yelled, doing a backflip on the water. Hey, Konohamaru, take a break, alright. And come over here, alright, you three, we're going to go get some ramen to eat and do a mission afterwards. He said, grinning. Last one to Ichiraku's, is a weirdo. Naruto ran off laughing, with Konohamaru giving chase. Moegi grinned and looked to Hanabi. Come on, let's go, she said, taking Hanabi's arm and pulling her along. We don't want to be called weirdos, right? After Hanabi and Moegi arrived, finding Naruto and Konohamaru already scarfing down ramen. Hanabi smiled a bit at her teammates and sensei, thinking to herself that maybe being on Squad 11 would a good experience after all. She sat down to join them, and after lunch the four of them walked off to the Hokage's tower to get their first mission as Squad 11. They ended up with a mission to unload supplies for Tenten's Famile's weapon shop and took nearly an hour get everything unloaded. Naruto decided they could have the rest of the day off to practice or whatever else they wanted to do. Konohamaru ran off to do some training, while Moegi decided to spend some time with her mom before doing some training as well. Hanabi said she needed to get home, and once again Naruto walked her home, since it was on the way to his own, and as a Hyuga, she needed an escort. After arriving in front of the Hyuga clan estate, Naruto crouched down in front of Hanabi. Look, you did great today, no matter what your father may say to you otherwise. You should be proud of your accomplishments with the wind chakra training and water walking, just like I'm proud of you, Naruto said, to her smiling. By the way, Moegi and Konohamaru already know this, but if you need anything, like someone to talk to, or just to listen to you can come and look me up at my house, anytime, day or night, got it? Hanabi blushed and nodded, unused to someone being so nice, especially after giving him such a hard time. She watched him get the attention of the on-duty guard, telling him Hanabi was back, and then give her a wave goodbye. Thank you, sensei, she said smiling, before she walked inside the gates and entered the house. My team may be strange, but I like them. I hope father lets me stay on the team, she though as she walked to her room to take a bath and rest for a bit before resuming her training.